The bells of Solcrown rang at the wrong hour. These bells screamed, wild, uneven, desperate. From the highest balcony of the White Keep, King Aldric IV watched his city die. Towers that had stood for centuries cracked and collapsed under siege. Lions and stags that once swore loyalty to the Phoenix throne. The king tasted smoke and betrayal on his tongue. Behind him, the palace shook. Courtiers ran the White Keep, heart of the greatest kingdom on the continent. Aldric gripped the stone railing, held back famine, crushed invaders. And yet, it was not foreign armies that destroyed Aurelian. They opened the gates, said a voice behind him. Lord Varric, his master of coin, stood pale and shaking. They lowered the chains. Aldric closed his eyes, uneasy silences. Nobles demanding protections. A king's mistake. Queen Merwin appeared, her gown torn. Soot smeared across her face. Our chambers are lost, she said. They're killing anyone with royal blood. Find Sir Salim, he said quietly. They'll lead beyond the walls. Those passages were sealed generations ago. Only one knight still knows them. Past the ruin to the city he had sworn to protect, they were not the clear, measured chimes that marked prayer or celebration. Each strike tore through the night air like a warning meant too late. Fire crawled across rooftops, leaping from street to street as if alive. Engines that bore friendly sigils. Ash drifted down, coating marble in black. So it begins, he whispered. Somewhere below, steel rang against steel. Servants screamed, had become a slaughterhouse. He had ruled 22 years. Unified provinces that had warred for generations. It was friends, Aldric turned. The Eastern Watch. Iron Coalition forces marched in wearing our colors. He had seen the signs, delayed messages. He had chosen trust over fear. Before he could speak, hurried footsteps echoed across the marble. In her arms, wrapped in blue silk, was their son? Her voice did not break. Though her hands trembled, the child stirred. Small fingers clutching her sleeve, Aldric crossed the balcony in 3 strides and took his son into his arms. So unaware. Closer now, they've named you a tyrant. Aldric gave a bitter smile. He pulled a ring from his finger, the phoenix signet. He pressed it into Merwin's palm and closed her fingers around it. The old tunnels beneath the western gardens. Her eyes widened. They were hidden. Aldric corrected. Merwin hesitated. Aldric looked past her. Past the fire if I flee. He said they'll hunt you forever, if I stay. They'll believe the bloodline ended tonight. Tears carved clean paths through ash on her face. I will not leave you. You will, he said gently. For him. Another crash. The doors to the balcony shuddered. Merwin kissed Aldric once hard, desperate, then pressed her forehead to their son's. You must live, she whispered to the child. Even if the world burns. She turned and ran. Aldric watched her disappear into smoke and shadow, carrying the future of Aurelian into darkness. Then he straightened his cloak, wiped ash from his crown, and faced the doors. They burst open. Iron-clad soldiers flooded the balcony, boots striking marble in unison. At their center walked a man without a helmet. Aldric recognized him instantly. Rohan. The king's voice was calm. You taught my son to ride. Rowan's jaw tightened. Times change. You swore an oath. I swore to the realm, Rowan snapped. And the realm chose survival. Behind Rowan, Iron Coalition banners snapped in the burning wind. The council has declared you deposed, Rowan said. Kneel, and your death will be quick. Aldric laughed softly. All this fire, he said, gesturing to the city. And you still fear a kneeling man? He removed his crown and set it on the stone. I kneel only to my people, he said, and they are not here. Rowan raised his sword. The blade fell, deep beneath the White Keep. Stone doors ground open for the first time in centuries. Torchlight flickered along forgotten tunnels carved by kings who feared the same fate. Seer Salem, old and scarred, led the queen through twisting darkness. Behind them, the palace screamed. Ahead, a narrow passage sloped downward, away from crowns, away from fire. Merwin did not look back. When they emerged beyond the walls, the city of Solcrown burned like a funeral pyre. The phoenix banners fell, and somewhere in the shadows beyond the kingdom's reach, the last heir of Aurelian lived, unknown, hunted, and destined to return.